Well, hey guys, we're here on Sunday and we're winging it.
Today we have, well, we're really excited. This is going to be a phenomenal episode. I'm so glad you're here to see it. You know, one of the favorite things that we have about our RV lifestyle are all of the interesting people that we get to meet. We are currently at the AIM All-Inclusive Motor Coach Rally in Branson, Missouri, and we have the pleasure of meeting Don, who I think you are absolutely going to love his story and his experiences and what he's got coming up, so stay tuned. Don is the topic of this week's Wingin' It. Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Stacy.
I'm Tom, and we're RV Texas, y'all.
We are native Texans and full-time RVers who are all about exploring the great state of Texas and beyond, one campground at a time. We're on a mission to experience life, not just live it, and we're bringing you along for the fun.
In 2018, we sold our house, our business, and got rid of most everything we owned to hit the road and see America. Our home is a 33-foot RV named Freedom. We installed an extreme solar and lithium setup, so now we can just about live anywhere with our dog Star and our cat Astro.
Every day is a new adventure, so join us as we RV America, y'all. Okay, before we get started, let's quickly review the rules of Wingin' It. We're going to set the timer on my phone, and since we have a lot to share with you about Don, we're going to set the timer for 20 minutes. We're going to talk about the topic, and when the timer goes off, we're going to wrap things up. This is completely unedited, unscripted, and you get what you get. So, 20 minutes on the clock. We're winging it.
Okay, well, first of all, Don, thank you for doing this. You've been an inspiration to Stacy and I. Your story of RVing. First of all, tell everybody, how old are you, Don?
90.
You're 90 years old. So when did you start RVing?
Well, March, a year ago last March.
So you didn't even start RVing till you were 89, is that right?
Right, I bought the coach in February of 21 and started driving on the 3rd of March. I had to wait a few days to get my shipment of personal goods from Portland, Oregon by FedEx Freight. They were slow. So I sat there and had a chance to read all the books.
So, you know, it's so fascinating to us that, you know, a lot of people, they say, oh gosh, we're too old to RV. I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, it depends on the individual and your attitude, but if some people are too old when they're 60, and others, I hope I'm not too old. I think if you're physically fit and alert, why not?
Why not? Absolutely.
Yep.
And you put, now in basically 1 year, how many miles did you RV?
Well, I have 40,000 on the RV and the towed combined in 1 year. Right now there's 26,000 on this and 20,000 on the towed.
Wow.
So you have seen some places in a short amount of time.
Yep, I kind of covered the country. I was Portland, Maine, Key West, California, San Diego, and around.
And let me tell you, and we were talking with Don, I was talking earlier, we meet a lot of people on the road, and you see people out there in their 70s that probably shouldn't be on the road anymore. I mean, so it's
well, you see people in their 50s that shouldn't be on the road anymore.
But I'm here to tell you, Don absolutely should be on the road. He's solid. I mean, he has something in common with Stacy and I. You know, Stacy and I grew up in Houston, Texas. Don lived in Houston, Texas, and or close to Houston, Texas, right. I guess. But he had a little bit more fun career, let's say, than Stacy and I did. So let them know what you used to do, Don.
Well, to go back, after I left the Navy in my last year, was flying out of the Alameda Naval Air Station, and so I went to Berkeley, to University of California in Berkeley, to finish my undergrad, and then I got hooked on physics. Ernest Lawrence was the director of the laboratory. The Lawrence Radiation Lab is famous. I met him and I got very inspired, so I changed from engineering to physics and stayed in grad school and did my PhD in particle physics. And I did postgrad in France. I went over and did an experiment on one of the accelerators and came back to Berkeley, and I was getting a bit frustrated with the length of time it took to plan and be able to implement your experiment on the accelerators. And one of the professors there suggested to me, he says, well, listen, Don, why don't you join NASA? We're going to do the best particle physics in space on space stations, physics labs. Since you're a pilot, you're a scientist, they need scientist astronauts. So then I applied for the program and went into NASA as a scientist astronaut astronaut. And so I moved. First they sent me to the Goddard Space Flight Center near Greenbelt, near Washington, D.C., Greenbelt, Maryland,
Okay.
where I designed an experiment for small satellites for the Explorer series, which measured galactic and cosmic radiation from the sun and so on. That was in 66 and 67 that satellite flew. But when they had the accident in Houston at the Cape with the first crew, I got called to Houston. The deputy director in Houston had been a mentor of mine in Berkeley, and Dr. Hess called me and said, come on down, we're reorganizing. They really did shake up NASA after that, and maybe you'd like to come down and join us. We need to create a physics branch. And I went down, and I couldn't say no. Of course, I accepted right away, and I moved to Houston in '67. And I was there then for the first mission, Apollo 7, Wally Schirra and his crew, and through Apollo 13. Apollo 13 was my last mission.
Wow. And I'm wearing my NASA shirt, my Johnson Space Center shirt for the occasion. You know, we grew up going there, and always fascinating. If you're ever in Houston, you absolutely have to go to the Johnson Space Center. They call it Space Center Houston now.
In fact, you haven't been back in a while, have you?
Well, no, after, you know, when I first started driving a year ago, after the rally at the Texas Motor Speedway, I drove down to Houston. I hadn't been there in 51 years. Since I left in 1970, and I drove down and went to Nassau Bay to look for the neat little townhouse I had. It was gone. Huge buildings have taken place.
It's changed a little bit.
It's changed a little bit.
Inside the Space Center, the buildings are the same, but on the outside, it's totally different. But it was fun to go back.
So,
absolutely.
So of course now you said that's. Did we mention about the RV? We did say.
No. By the way, Don actually has a Newmar New Aire. Something else we have in common. A 2021.
Yeah.
21.
So we both have the same coach now. He has the bigger engine than we have.
You've got a 3543 model,
yeah.
right?
So he's got the 35 foot with the 450 Cummins. As you know, we have the 33 foot with the 360 coming, so he's got a little more power than us. But being an astronaut, of course, he's got a little more power than we do.
I just learned something from you guys what this button is.
So, I mean, we've had a lot of discussions about different things about the coach and how we drive, but he's got a lot more experience driving the coach than we do. We have not put, you know, close to 30,000 miles on our coach.
We got
This is
some
my
work to
first
do.
coach. You've had others.
Yes, we have. That's true.
Yeah, so this is your first coach.
Yep,
Now,
first time I drove.
What what made you decide to get a New Aire?
Well, I went online to several of the forums, IRV2 being the principal one, and I read a lot and asked a lot of questions, and Angie wrote to me once.
Angie.
Said,
There you go.
You should take a look at the New Aire. And so I did. I was really going to get the 33, but they talked me into the 35 when I eventually
Maybe that's
bought it.
good for us, because we got the last one, and had Don bought it, we may not have got it.
So I ordered it back in the fall, maybe it was August or September of 20. Picked it up February 23rd. And started driving on the 3rd, and I missed the first AIM rally was in Beaubridge, Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because my personal items did not arrive, I had to sit in Louisville the first 3 days of the rally and wait. They arrived about noon. I loaded everything in. I dumped everything on my bed. And I took off about 2 in the afternoon thinking, this is the first day I've never driven this thing except around the block. I'll go halfway and I don't want to drive after dark. But you know, it felt so good. I just drove all the way, 430 miles, and I got there at 10:30 at night.
The very first time he's really driven a rig, and he drives, how many miles was that?
430.
430 miles. And at that time, he was 89 years old.
Yeah.
So you had a pretty good feel for the coach, I guess, by the time you got there.
Yeah, right away, yeah.
Yeah. So what are some, I know we talked about this the other day, and everyone always asks you, what are some of your favorite places that you've seen in the last year?
Everyone asks that, and there's no particular one favorite. There are so many places I love. But that's what I like about the coach and the country. There are so many places to see, and you can get there. You don't have to check in and reserve hotels, and we're eating restaurants.
Right.
And so anyway, I'd say upstate New York was really a good experience. I love that Alexandria Bay.
Okay.
I love Portland, Maine. Key West was fun for 3 days. I love driving around Texas a bit. You know, well, I tell you, one of the most fun times was Colorado, Granby. You weren't there.
Oh no, we missed that when we were on the wait list. We didn't make it.
You didn't make it in.
Horseback riding, floating the Colorado, and driving ATVs on those trails.
Nice.
So these are things, if you weren't in the RV lifestyle now, you probably wouldn't have done, I guess.
That's right, yeah.
So is that what led you to do this? I mean, why at 89 did you suddenly decide, I'm going to get an RV and start traveling?
Well, I've worked all my life, and I have to have something to do. I have to have a reason to get up in the morning. And I always like to travel. And I like to meet people, and I like to drive. So it fits. I can avoid the restaurants and the hotels, and I can be where I want to, when I want to, and I can drive, and I have something to take care of. I like machinery and toys, and I've owned aircraft. And so it's a perfect fit.
Yeah,
Why
it keeps
not?
your mind going too.
Yeah.
Why not? I love it. Why not?
Why not? That's what I always ask. 'Cause
Yeah.
many of my relatives and friends have thought
They think you're crazy.
try to make me feel kind of bad, and I do a little bit. Sorry, my wife is at home, but I can't sit there. I'm not going to.
And she just doesn't enjoy traveling like you do, I
No,
guess.
she doesn't want to travel.
So should we give her a shout out? What is her name?
Vicky.
Hi Vicky. How are
Vicky.
you?
She's a wonderful lady. Well, I just took her to Europe. We had a 2-week cruise on the Danube for her 70th birthday, the 1st of April.
Nice. Okay. Nice. I bet that was wonderful.
That was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. And she was down in Arizona over Christmas holidays. I have a sister and relatives who live there. They're snowbirds, you know. They live there in the winter.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And, I was in Arizona much of the winter myself.
That's awesome. So now, from here,
And this is crazy.
You have big plans when we leave here tomorrow. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm heading for Alaska.
Wow.
There you go.
And you're not just doing it like most of us do it. I mean, tell him he's doing it with no reservations.
Right. Well, I had signed up with a group, and then I backed out. I've talked to enough people that I have the flexibility and the time, and I don't want to be tied to a group and stay certain places which I don't like. I've heard that story. So why not? In reality, it isn't any different than touring down here. If you stay on the good roads, the roads are good. The distance between gas stations is longer, but that can be taken care of. The longest distance I think is 300 miles, or the shortest distance maybe. But anyway, why not?
Why not?
Well, there's one other thing.
I see a theme here.
Yeah.
Why not?
But there's one other thing that we have a lot of commonality with Don. Is Don has a pretty darn big lithium and solar setup as well. He had his done up in Indiana right after he bought his coach. And they, not the same company we used. do you remember the name of the company that you had it done with?
Solar Systems.
Solar Systems.
And you had a good experience
They're right
with
by
them.
Napany,
Yeah.
Good guys, I like.
Yeah, he really liked it. We met them too at the FMCA rally, and a neat family-owned business.
Yeah.
And he said they did him a great job, and he does. So that enables Don, like us, to have the flexibility to boondock.
Yep, exactly.
So you don't need hookups.
Yep. There are plenty of places to park if you can't get into a nice RV park with all the hookups. I don't need that. I can go 2 weeks with my tanks. I've tested that out already once.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
That's awesome.
And there's a lot of sun in the summer in Alaska.
That's true. That's a very good point. Now, how long do you expect your Alaska experience to be?
Well, I have to be back in Rock Springs for the Newmar International Convention on the 15th of July, so I'll be there almost 2 months.
So maybe we'll be able to catch up with Don then,
yeah.
because we're going to be there too.
Yes.
I know. I'll be
And
there.
we hear that they're going to be parking rigs by size, so we'll
really?
probably
We're
be
probably
parked
gonna be
nearby.
close anyway.
Good.
Yeah, so we'll be able to hear
I've
all
got
about.
information up here already, you know, on parking.
Yeah.
Did you get your package?
We haven't gotten it yet
Yeah.
because we decided to do a will call.
We'll call because we didn't know where we were going to
Well,
be.
that's true, but I got one package. Maybe that isn't all of it. There's a will call, too. You know, I'm getting a badge or something.
That's great. So we look forward to seeing that now. Now, we're going to put links to your blog, if you don't mind, and to your Instagram page where people can follow along on your
that'd be
adventures.
great. Super.
And we'll put links to those in the description.
what is the web page that you're going to be doing?
www.drivingwithdon.com.
Drivingwithdon.com.
Yeah.
And you're developing that right now,
Yeah,
correct?
I'm using Wix, you know, and it's there. I
Yep.
think on one side or the other.
Yep.
Yep. Stacy will put it
Yep.
below, and
And I love it. It says farmer, physicist, and winemaker.
oh, well, that's another story yet. So tell us about the winemaking.
Well, okay, I was in the high-tech industry after I left NASA. In Silicon Valley, I founded a couple companies, and I can't tell you about the one I'm very proud of because I really revolutionized the industry and chemical laboratories. But anyway, I got attracted to go to Oregon as the CEO of a semiconductor startup company in 96. And so I moved to Portland, and we ran along, but around 2000 we needed another $10 million or something. The dot-com came, we couldn't raise the money. It was a very interesting new technology. So we sold the company off, and I, having grown up on a farm and liking wine, decided to buy land. So I bought 20 acres of land in '99, and I rented a dozer and a track hoe and cleared it and planted a vineyard and built a winery, and I was in the wine business until I sold it in November of 20 and it went this way.
Okay.
Wow, very interesting. And you know, I don't know if you're a Harvest Host member or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and of course, as you know, if you know anything about Harvest Host, there's a lot of wineries and stuff that are part of Harvest Host. So now when Don goes, he knows probably more about the wine than they do.
In a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But, it's fun. I go to a lot of wineries, and particularly great breweries.
Oh,
Yes,
I love the breweries.
we love the breweries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and better than wine, although I've been to some pretty nice wineries. Fredericksburg has some nice wines. Texas
That's
has some
Fredericksburg,
nice
Texas.
wines.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've had some good wines down in Arizona.
Okay.
They're-
So for all you
every
wine
state's
fans
making
out
wine.
there-
It's not as easy as in the West because of the climate, but they're making some good wines.
That's awesome. So now you're going to Alaska when you leave here. What about after that? Do you have other
Well,
big plans other than the Newmar Rally, obviously?
After that, I'm heading to North Dakota for a family reunion.
Okay.
My oldest cousin is going to be 95, and so I'll be up there a few days. Then I'll head back to Oregon and spend the month of August and have my recliners put in. And,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometime after Labor Day, I'm going to head for Utah and Colorado, and I'm going to spend time in that part of the country visiting the many great parks.
Well, maybe we'll run into you there too,
Yes,
because we're going to
absolutely.
be
Monument
there about
Valley,
that time.
Zion.
Yeah, we're going to be there at the same
all
time.
over. Yeah, we
Yes.
keep in touch. And then I have to be in Albuquerque on the 6th of October for the Balloon Festival.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
You're
we
going to
tr-
love that.
Yeah, we tried to get in, but it didn't work out this year. And it's the 50th anniversary of
I was
the
on the
Balloon
waiting list for
Festival.
quite a while, and I finally got
You
in.
made it in. Great.
Gosh,
Then I
that,
might go to Truth or Consequences. Have you been there?
No, we haven't.
Well, I just heard from a friend about it. It's supposed to be an incredible little place south of Albuquerque.
Well, see, and isn't that a great thing? We find so many leads on
Yeah.
great places
Yeah.
by just talking to people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You
yeah, I
know?
want to hear about the Texas places. You mentioned it, you know.
For
the other day
sure.
about something. I want to go there.
Oh, absolutely. We can give you some great places to go in Texas.
but, you know, we really wanted to bring Don on. You can see he's a fascinating guy. I mean, and at 90, he is doing things that we're not even doing. I mean, he's stepping out of his comfort zone and just embracing life. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And I don't know, it might be his comfort zone. His comfort zone is probably a lot bigger than mine.
Well, every day is a good day, and it's just today, you know.
I think that's great. Absolutely. If you have any questions for Don, if you'll leave them in the comments below, and Don, we'll send you a link to this video, and
Yep.
if you can, as you have connectivity, because I know you're going to be traveling and busy,
Yeah.
but if you get a chance to look at the comments, if you could answer questions, that'd be awesome.
I will look forward to it very much.
And we definitely look forward to running into you again. We'll definitely see you in
same here.
Newmar and at the Newmar rally and get to hear all about Alaska and what we can look forward to when we do it.
That's for sure, because
Right.
we haven't really announced that, but I guess we just did. Next year, oh, perfect timing. Next year, we're heading to Alaska. So, Don, will give us a few
2023.
tips.
You can track me on Google Map, you know.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll invite you if you want to.
that'd be
Yeah,
great. Heck
absolutely.
yeah. I'd love to see where you're going.
For sure.
Awesome. Well,
Sounds good.
thank you so much, Don, for sitting down with us.
Thank you guys.
We
Yeah.
have had just a ball visiting with you this week, and we look forward to the next time we get to cross paths.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like, yes, we just met Don, and he's a fascinating individual, but I think we're going to be friends forever now.
I like that.
And thank you for allowing us to come into your home here and
Well, thank
Yes.
you for coming.
share the.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
little windy outside. We've
Yeah,
had
it
some
is.
rough weather here in Branson the last couple days, but we're having a ball anyway.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's for sure.
So
Been a lot of
thank
fun.
you again. We love it. Again, we'll put his links down in the description so you can follow along on Don's adventures. And thanks so much for joining us, y'all. Until next time, keep on winging it. Safe travels.
And happy camping.
Bye.
Bye.